In school, we learned about the world before ours, about the angels and the gods that lived in the sky, ruling the earth with kind and loving hands. Some say those are just stories, but I don't believe that. The gods rule us still. They have come down from the stars, and they are no longer kind. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Leslie, and today I'd like to review Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Red Queen is a young adult fantasy novel that takes place in a world where people are divided by the color of their blood. We have Silverbloods, who are people with magical abilities such as telekinesis, fire wielders, superhuman strength, etc. And that includes the royal family. And then we have Redbloods, who are people with no magical abilities, who have been enslaved by the Silverbloods for generations. For example, when a Redblood turns 18, he or she is forced to enlist in a war that has been taking place for hundreds of years, unless that person has a job, which is actually really hard to get. And this is a war where hundreds of thousands of Redbloods have already lost their lives. So our main character is a girl named Matthieu, who's 17 years old, and she has no job. She has 1 year left before she gets enlisted, but she is a pickpocketer. Her best friend is about to be drafted to the war, and so she decides to help him desert by buying him safe passage. She doesn't know exactly where, she just knows that she wants to get him to a safe place that is not controlled by Silverblood. Unfortunately, she pickpockets the wrong person, and through a series of events, she is taken to the palace where it is discovered that she possesses a magical ability, which is supposed to be impossible considering she bleeds red. The king and queen kind of freak out because they think that this will give the Reds even more of a reason to rebel than they already do. And so they force her to stay within the palace and disguise herself as a Silver. They engage her to the youngest prince and keep her in line by threatening the lives of her family. They want to use her against the rebellion, not knowing that she is part of the rebellion. Although she starts developing feelings for a prince or two, even though they are the enemy. This was my first experience reading Victoria Aveyard's novels, and I loved her writing style so much. There were quite a few lengthy descriptions, which I'm usually not a fan of, but in this case it really worked because they were really necessary to the plot. And they were so well worded and so well written. I loved the dialogue between the characters, and I loved being able to see Mare's thought process, and I basically read this book in 2 days. The first 50 pages do a really great job of describing why the Reds hate the Silvers so much and all the injustices that have been done towards them, which is very ironic and pretty funny now that Matthieu has to live with them and pretend loving one of them. I have had this book on my bookshelf for close to 5 months, and I don't really know exactly why I lost all motivation to read it, but I just did not want to pick it up. I was told that it is extremely tropey, and I was just dreading it. It's true, it is extremely tropey, meaning there are overly done themes in this book, such as love triangles and the chosen one trope, which I usually hate the chosen one trope, but in this instance, I thought it was very well done. Nonetheless, I knocked down half a star because I am tired of reading about normal people who all of a sudden develop magical abilities. I think it would be so much better if the authors describe various instances throughout a character's life where magic slipped out of them, whether or not they realized it, and it wouldn't be so random. However, I am complete trash for love triangles, and what a delicious love triangle is in this story! Like, love triangles are legitimately my favorite thing ever. But I feel like this novel was a mixture between the Hunger Games, where the main character is used against the rebellion like Peeta was, and they live in a world that's completely oppressed by the government. And I was also reminded of the show Reign, where Mayor falls in love with both princes and makes a complete mess of things. The queen is an evil bitch who wouldn't mind killing her. I really enjoyed the main character of Mayor. She's a girl who's lived her entire life in her younger sister's shadow because her younger sister is tutored to craft fine silk and she will have a job in the future, whereas Mayor can only pickpocket, and her family looks down upon that, even though the money she pickpockets is the only thing keeping them alive, and she loves them very much, but she also resents her family for making her feel like she's not good enough. She feels very torn between the two princes and very confused as to what she's developing romantically with them because they're nothing like she expected them to be. They've shown her kindness and compassion and so many more emotions that she never knew Silvers were capable of possessing. But she is part of the rebellion to free all Reds from oppression, and therefore they are her enemies no matter what she feels for them. And the princes, of course, are complete opposites of each other. Cal is the firstborn and has been trained his whole entire life to follow in his father's footsteps to become a ruthless king, but he saves Mayor over and over again and has such good redeeming qualities. Whereas Maven has always lived in Cal's shadow and therefore understands Mayor's motives on a deeper level. Even though she's not thrilled to be engaged to a silver prince, if she's to be married off, then she's okay with it being him. It was becoming so hard to decide which prince I was rooting for. It was so dramatic. The ending was great. We're left off on a cliffhanger, and even though it was super enjoyable, I still thought it was a little predictable. Mayor is backstabbed, of course, and even though I had foreseen this turn of events, I still thought it was very well done and still so exciting to read. I am so glad to finally picked up this book, this series. I am currently on a book buying ban, but I did buy the second novel and will continue with this series. I will continue buying these books until I'm done reading them. So all in all, I give this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. But again, if you don't like tropey novels or love triangles, then this is probably maybe not the book for you. Even though I'm not usually into tropey books, and I'm very much enjoying this novel. So this is it for today's review of Red Queen. Please let me know if you've read this series and if you've liked it or not. And I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye!